Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, with our main topic today in the breakfast show. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi have secured the third term in office after he won the presidential elections by 89.6%. Well, to shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have this phone with our dear guest, His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Good morning, Your Excellency.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
How are you, sir? Well, Your Excellency, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, for the third term, is the President of Egypt. After the National Election Authority have announced that the President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi have won the elections, the President have delivered a very important speech to the nation. So how did you read the speech by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to the nation?
It is very important at this timing to face the challenges ahead of us in internal policies, whether security, politics, or our economic reform. On the other hand, it is another message to the whole world, seeing that the Egyptians are supporting their leadership in order to face many problems around us, starting by our eastern border in Palestine, in our western border in Libya,
yes,
and the division between tribes and parties. In the south of Egypt, in Sudan, the situation is still not very good. In Yemen, which is threatening the freedom of navigation in the Red Sea, Syria is in a very bad condition. So, as a matter of fact, the Arab world is not in its best situation. And all these challenges, of course, are big challenges ahead of us, whether for our security or our income and our economy. That's why we are supporting the president, and thank God that the performance was strong and very good.
Yes.
So here we have another period of our country in order to face challenges, whether positively as the economic development or the negative situation around us. And thank God that Egypt has very good relations with all the parties in the whole world, especially the parties who are fighting in Gaza, which made Egypt able to talk to everybody, able to perform a sort of truce between the two fighting parties. And we shall continue doing this, of course, although especially about the Palestinian question, I am not very optimistic about the short-run period. Of course, there are countries which are dealing with this matter with a policy which have double face and double standards. We cannot get a resolution in the Security Council because of the American veto. So we have to live with this. And thank God that our president is still there. He is the best one knowing all these problems, and we are supporting him. We are standing strongly behind him in order to cross this time of our life.
Yes, Your Excellency Ambassador Bayoumi, now the President also, during his speech to the nation, have thanked the Egyptians for lining up for the election and described this scene as a civilized scene. And he said that the elections was historical and it was an unprecedented turnout. So my question is, most or the majority of the Egyptians in the elections, the majority votes were in favor of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. What does this signify?
It is a strong message from the Egyptian people to the leadership, to the president, that we are behind him. We shall support whatever position or stand he would take, to give him the freedom to choose whatever policies Egypt needs, whether in the economic life or in the borderline and the security matters. So also it is a sort of message to the whole world, telling them that Egyptians are standing very strong behind a very strong foreign policy in order to reach peace and security and economic development.
Yes, Your Excellency, Ambassador Bayoumi, also the President during his speech to the nation promised the people, the Egyptian people, to make a joint vision and ask them to work with him, and said we have to work with each other in order to build the new republic. Also, he promised the Egyptian people during his speech that he's going to be the voice of the citizens of Egypt in all circumstances and all situations. And he greeted all the candidates who also were nominating themselves during the elections, and asked the people to work with him as he wanted. He said we would like to work with each other, and that we would never save any effort in order to meet the aspirations of the Egyptian people.
It was a very good occasion that the president met yesterday with another candidature for presidency, to show that even if they were competing for the position of a president, still they are Egyptians, still they are coordinating among themselves to make sure that each one of the candidates can talk to the president, telling him what he would advise of what to do internally and in our foreign policy also. So it is a continuous process, and I think that we are doing fine. We have challenges inside our country, not the least one that we gave birth to 26 million children in the last 11 years. This is huge, and we have to feed them, we have to educate them, we have to make sure that they are having good chances of good housing and good education, good health care, and so on. Also, that thank God that although the whole world is suffering from the results of the epidemic of corona and the war in Ukraine, that many countries, most of the countries of the world, with a diminishing economy, except 5 countries, Egypt among them, which is still growing positively. This is a good news, but it's not good enough, because the rate of development is not as what we want, and it's not as what we reached and realized in previous years. So the message here, we have to double our efforts. We have to work more to face all these challenges, to make sure that nobody in Egypt is hungry, or nobody is sick, or nobody is not working in an appropriate job, and so on.
Yes,
we are on the right track, but the challenges are many around us.
Yes, Your Excellency, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, Also, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, in his speech, he thanked the judges of Egypt, that also about 15,000 judges were supervising under the supervision, of course, of the judges of Egypt, and thanked them for the efforts exerted. Also, concerning the national authority, the National Election Authority, described the elections as that it was going, the election process was going very smoothly. It did not record even one violation or any breaches, whether from the citizens or from the candidates or from their deputies. And the Egyptians themselves were abiding by the rules. So how did you see this picture?
It was a very civilized process, and for a simple reason, because almost 90% of those who went to vote were supporting one president. Even those who were on the other side, which something like 20% of the voters, were not in a big difference with us. Still, we are all Egyptians. Still, we are all with this country to develop and to realize much better situation inside our economy and outside with the challenges around us. And really, you are right. And we realized we were proud of the way the elections took place. And that was really amazing, that even old people, young people, ladies, very old gentlemen, all of them were in the queue waiting for their chance to vote. And it went, like you said, smoothly, because I think the Egyptians, even if they belong to different parties, after all, the goals are the same, and we don't have a serious difference between an Egyptian and another.
Yes, Your Excellency, Ambassador Bayoumi, also the citizens were participating and casting their ballots as it's their constitutional right and also their national duty. So how did this show of the mentality and the awareness of the Egyptian people?
Because according to the Constitution, the voting is my right. It's my right to vote. And there is another theory in the constitutions that it is my duty to vote. And between this and that, it is our constitution took the two points of view. Voting is my duty. Voting is my right also. That's why all of us, we went with pleasure in order to practice our duty and in order to practice our right. So that is one additional reason why we have seen a very civilized process during the election.
Yes, Your Excellency, Ambassador Bayoumi, also the importance of the participation of high-ranking officials, ministers, politicians, famous people, celebrities. What is the importance of their participation in the first day? It seems we have lost the line. We have lost the line. We were speaking about the presidential elections in Egypt 2024 with His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. And actually, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi won a third term in office that is going to extend for 6 years in office. The past 2 terms for President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi have really witnessed a great leap for Egypt, and several achievements have Egypt have witnessed several achievements and national mega projects were established by the president. Also, the president have delivered a very important speech after the result of the elections, presidential elections, during which the president have spoke of the importance of the participation by the Egyptian people and thanked all the Egyptian people of all sort for participating and for the high turnout. A short break, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to be back with you.